Mr. Graham, it's late night on a Thursday. We don't have an intro. We're not doing it live. It's just you and me this time.
We are doing it live.
Well, what are people listening to, sir?
The DU Football Show.
There we go. How about that? Words are fun. We like to talk. This is a back and forth. You see, you and I, you don't look at your phone like you're doing right now, and you talk to me. But now you're not allowed to talk anymore because now it's time to start the show.
In the land of Bowie, Maryland, bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Smells of a lord. Looks great in shorts. Sam Graham, hey.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to the DU Football Show, a completely biased recap of the English Premier League as told by two common American schmucks. I am your host, Sam Houston, and the man cracking all them knuckles over there, my co-host, Mr. Samuel Graham. How you doing, Sammy?
Doing very well, thank you. Got to be ready, you know? That's part of my pregame routine.
Yeah? You're just wearing the
We're all
earbuds
set.
so you hear everything. That's all right. You'll be okay.
Good.
I'm watching the little lines go.
There's nothing else going on except me and my knuckles.
You and your knuckles? Actually, there's something very important going on, Mr. Graham. We have to take a moment to recognize that it's the birthday of a key person of the DU family. Without this person, we would not.
You're absolutely right.
We would not survive. They do everything for us. They're the best support system we've ever had. So allow me to say, Chris Firehawk, happy birthday. We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out on all podcast platforms. Please be sure to rate, subscribe, review, and share with a footballing friend. Should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Mr. Graham, tell the good people how they get in touch.
Absolutely. It's quite simple. It's at DU Football Show on all the social medias, at dufootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch via email.
And a real shout out. Happy birthday to my beautiful bride, our lovely producer, Mel.
Oh, it's lovely to be in my late 30s.
And she comes with the funny. She sure as hell comes with the funny.
Melissa, happy birthday. Firehawk, that was still a real shout out. Don't just shit on the man's birthday now. Jesus Christ.
There was a real shout out.
Chris made a very astute observation earlier that people born on the 5th of January tend to be smarter.
Okay, and that science is what, between you and him?
That's anecdotal evidence. It works.
Yeah, in what way?
All the ways.
You've done the research, right?
We've done the research.
You've done the research on
I
Google?
have the documents.
Good. You have the memes as well? The memes too?
I have all the memes.
Hey, hold on.
Uh-huh.
Please. I was in Westminster, Maryland today, and I saved this for this moment because I wanted y'all to hear it.
Okay.
Heard.
I knew this was coming. I walked into one of my liquor stores today, and they say, "Did you get stopped in the parking lot?" No. What are you on about? You see that guy in the suit? Yeah. You see that woman with the phone? Yeah. That's the producer. He's the host, and he's interviewing people, asking them whether or not, when Bill Gates, Anthony Fauci, and Joe Biden are getting arrested. And if they're not arrested, when we think they're going to push the red button to activate the vaccine and trigger the zombie apocalypse.
Well, that happens at the 12th vote when Kevin McCarthy gets turned down a dozen times even.
Sam and myself both work in the wine and spirit industry and both have a deep, passionate love for all things distilled spirits. So as the red-blooded Americans we are, we vow to have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. Mr. Graham, on Monday, we did number 18 out of turn because we had 2 bottles of number 19. Tell us all about it.
I will do that. Number 19 is the Teeling Wonders of Wood Virgin Chinkapin Oak. The panel gave it a 93. It is 100 proof and should run you roughly $100 on the shelf. Obviously, as we always like to stipulate, this list is now public knowledge. You will probably pay a 20 to 30% premium on the suggested retail. Here we go. Your blurb this time comes from Johnny McCormick. Master distiller Alex Chasko selected wide grain virgin Chinkapin American white oak. Sam, we were right in our pre-show meeting. White oak casks to fully mature this batch of distinctive Dublin-made single pot still whiskey, with each bottle sold helping to replant native trees in County Wicklow. Okay,
right.
He's stealing our trees to plant trees in his own backyard.
Well, hold on.
I don't know about this cat.
One might debate the Irish have been fucked over a lot more than we have. So if we're going to give them a few trees, let's give them a few trees. I think they'll be all right.
I have a lot of Irish heritage, okay?
Yes.
But America.
But
America.
All right.
Okay? This is the conspiracy
All right.
here.
Well, keep reading. Tell us
Anyway,
more.
back to it. The fresh oak has deeply etched its character on the spirit with savory and spicy aromas of roasted sweet chestnut, marron glace, licorice, pecan, and treacle.
What the fuck's treacle?
Treacle. Maybe I'm just ignorant. Is that treacle?
I have no idea. No idea.
For a second, I thought it said fecal.
Oh, God. Yeah, well, no. That would be a different show, Graham. That would be a different show.
Kidding. Followed by a deliciously yielding palette of black fruits, forest honey, clove, cola, and Brazil nut. Clove and forest honey actually makes sense to me, like a lot on this one.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I get the pecan as well. This is if Irish whiskey had a baby with bourbon. Because typically in the case of pot still, a pot still is a minimum of 70% barley done in a copper pot still, twice distilled. But that 30% can be neutral grain, whatever you want to do. Typically that's corn. Almost always that is corn. So, yeah, this is, for me, this is very much if Irish whiskey had a baby with bourbon. It's got a lot of those really nice sweet notes. It's a lovely whiskey.
Yeah, but it also finishes with a lot of those round notes. I mean, the honey, the clove, especially the Brazil nut. Actually, on second sip, came through big time. And do you explain the Brazil nut, if you would?
I just a big oversized nut that's kind of like an almond, but a little bit more neutral in taste. You know, so.
But I've always gotten a slight bitterness and dryness off of Brazil nut.
I give you that. I would definitely give you a dryness off Brazil nut,
but just a little bit of bitterness. But on like as opposed to what we normally consume here, pecans,
right?
Yeah, all those have a tinge of sweetness the other direction. But this, it's delightful. This
it really is. I'm thoroughly impressed with it. Teeling has made the list, I think, the last 3 years in a row. Their standard pot still made it a few years ago. Last year, the Black Pit single malt made it, and this time it's another pot still. What they kind of have going for them is Teeling's has a couple of things. They're the original Cooley distillery, and the Cooley distillery used to produce whiskey for everyone else for the most part. And when they finally started to kind of more center it around Teeling as a whole, it also got bought by a major company, got bought by Bacardi, right? So they had investment and they also had capital because they sold all their whiskey to everybody. I mean, anybody who you know of that is not Bushmill or the Middleton Distillery, a.k.a. Jameson, if it's an Irish whiskey, they bought it from Cooley. It's where it all fucking came from, all of it. And so they had that big capital already, which has allowed them to be experimental as fuck while everybody else is still trying to produce their pot stills and produce and age single malts and things of that nature. So I'm thoroughly impressed. I don't know if I'd go buying this bottle for $100 on the shelf. I'm just not sure. I've only done that a few times with Irish whiskey, and typically that's a Jameson Rares Vintage, Gold Label when it used to be available. The occasional Middletons I'd spend that kind of money on. And of course, the Glendalough 13, which was the Mizunora oak finish, which was just bloody fucking delightful, and you can't even get anymore. But yeah, this is really lovely.
Right.
Mr. Graham, what else do we need to do?
We need to remember to thank Whiskey Advocate for not suing us for reading all their stuff out. And always drink legally and responsibly.
There you go. I gave you the little clink this time, Mr. Graham. Not bad. I'll give you that one.
Nah.
We start with 3 fantastic victories for one group and catastrophic losses for the other. Brentford 3, Liverpool 1, Brighton 4, Everton 1, Tottenham 4, Crystal Palace 0. Another monster scalp for the Bees, Mr. Graham, in their building.
First time they beat them since 1948, I believe I read.
Yep. And right now they've got United and
34.
They've got United and Liverpool on their scalps for this year already in their building.
Well, and they also basically did what they did to United to Liverpool, just on a little bit of a smaller, more conservative scale. I mean, that would tend to happen when you don't have Harry Maguire in your team. People are slightly more conservative against you because they can't knock the fort walls down so easily. But Liverpool dominated the ball in this game completely. They had their chances, but really can only manage that Oxlade-Chamberlain chance. Sanchez did make 1 or 2 saves, but nothing absolutely spectacular.
Well, the good
also,
thing...
when the Ox scored, Brentford were already 2-0 up from 2 sucker punches.
Well, and also let's look at this. At that point, it could have already been 4-1 at that point, because there was a couple of close offsides, and then also one would debate that it could have been 4-2 because there was an offside just before Ox got his goal. The key thing, though, is that the Bees have probably one of the best defenders in the business in Darwin Nunez, who cannot hit a goal at all, even when it's completely open, like a completely open net.
One of my favorite memes about that was how Darwin Nunez cooks eggs.
Yes, I saw
and
this
it
one.
was the gas stove. You had the pan on a burner that was off. To the right of it, you had the burner that was on. And between the grates down towards the gas things that released the flame was the egg and egg white.
Yep. And don't forget, the eggshells were in the pan.
Fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That man's got
it was fantastic.
That man's got a bad case of the yips right now, and he cannot get out of his own head. He keeps getting opportunities, and he keeps just missing horrifically, which does not help.
What I would say about that is how young he is. There is the chance to calm him down and get him some composure in front of goal by coaching and practicing. But what you worry about with a striker is if they're not there, if they're not in positions, they're not even trying. They've lost their instinct completely, or what have you. If you've got a striker that's getting there, that's making chances, it's getting into position, that's Johnny on the spot, all you got to do is get him to come. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we just got to teach him to calm down, relax, and just let it flow through you.
Right.
And he'll start scoring goals. I'm trying to think off the top of my head a young player that was like that then turned prolific. And I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some, and I know there are some. I'm just having a brain fart.
Now, look, there's injuries. Obviously, Liverpool is dealing with a ton of injuries, but...
Well, it doesn't help when Konate knocks one into his own net and then also slips. I mean, injuries can't fix that.
Right. Well, and then...
He's been playing all season.
and then, of course, moment of silence for the Dutch tulip. Thank you. He, of course, now is out for the rest of January, apparently, with an injury. But also at the same time, you're Liverpool Football Club. You got to be better. You've got to be better than this. You have to be, and they aren't right now. They are tragically bad. Because even that...
Well, they haven't been all season, Sam.
Right. Well, that's just it. Like, the start of the year, they started off horrifically. Then they seem to turn it around, start to get some key wins. And then we come back from the World Cup, and that Villa match, Villa went toe-to-toe with them. It was a much closer game than the 3-1 suggested. Then they beat a team without scoring, and then they get their asses whooped by frankly, a team that shouldn't even be in the same class with them. I mean, I all respect to the Bees. I think they're a damn good team, and I'm going to get on to another thought about them in a few minutes, but you're Liverpool Football Club. If we say this about Manchester United, you have to say this about Liverpool Football Club.
Which we have said that about Manchester United as well.
Right. So,
but Liverpool are currently in 6th on 28 points. Their goal difference is a total of 12. I mean, that's
and let's
Mo
Salah
should have 12 goals himself already.
The nine
You know
of
what I
those,
mean?
9 of those are in a 9-0 victory over Bournemouth.
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah.
So really, you take that away. I mean, they're going to beat Bournemouth, right?
Well,
but make it a conservative 3-0.
Right.
They're only a +6.
That's
going
not good.
Where are we? They're on 17 games played as we speak right this moment. They're on 17 games played. I mean, that's just not good enough.
Next midweek, we are at the midway point officially. Next midweek, we'll have played almost everybody will have played 19 games. And also, over the next couple of weeks, there's going to be some Thursday matches that are going to start to make up the missed matches as well from the Queen's passing.
There's one coming up exactly 7 days from now.
Yep. It's going to be next Thursday for Fulham and I think it's Fulham Chelsea. I think it's the West London. Oh, now
it is the West London derby. You're absolutely right.
Now I spoke disparagingly about the Bees, but allow me to say the following: can this team finish in the top 10? Because my answer is hell yeah, they can.
Absolutely, they can. The verdict has not yet come down on Ivan Toney, of course,
right?
About the gambling, so he could very well still be there for the remainder of the season. Really, I mean, next year, my guess is next year they're probably going to have to. They're going to have to do something over the summer to cover up,
right?
What will more than likely be a 4 to 6 month ban.
Well, and here's the other thing too, but they just beat Liverpool without Ivan Toney because he's hurt right now.
No, right. What I'm saying is that if that happens, top 10 is going to be more difficult because as good as Brentford's playing, the couple of players they have to replace him, Johan Wissa and Brian Mbeumo, are not consistent in their goal scoring, and that's something they would both do better with. I mean, everyone saw. Yeah. And Mbeumo missed 2 golden chances in the World Cup as well. Yeah, he has a rash finish in him, and he's no replacement for the cool, calm, collected Ivan Toney.
That's true, because you can say with the Bees, with Ivan Toney, it's an automatic guarantee. If there's a penalty, it's going in the back of the net because he's now, 31 100%. For 31? In his
something
career?
Like that.
Yeah,
exactly.
Ridiculous.
So, but not even just that. I mean, he just offers a coolness and a calmness. I mean, think about the chip against Tottenham when I think it was against Tottenham or maybe Villa. I don't know. It was one of the 2 World Cup finalist goalies were out around the 18, and he just had the wherewithal to actually drag it back from them to give him the space to chip it over them.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's just as cool as the other side of the pillow.
True.
You know?
Very true.
R.I.P. R.I.P. Stu. That's one of my favorite quotes.
From the ESPN days? From the talking heads of ESPN? Yep.
As cool as the other side of the pillow. I love that. But anyway, he's too calm and collected and consistent, for anybody to really be able to replace him, is my point.
Fair enough.
So in terms of them finishing in the top 10, you have to mention Ivan Toney.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, if this injury is what they say it is and not very big and he'll be back soon. And again, apparently he's been a contention for all these games. If so, I'd expect him to play 30 minutes at the weekend in the FA Cup.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
You know, if he's that close to fitness, put him out there then.
Yeah.
You know,
fair.
I think we're going to see a lot by their decision to do that or not do that come Saturday. But, you know, with the legal stuff and his fitness in mind, Brentford should be good.
Yeah.
Like, I think top 10 hands down.
Yeah.
If the legal stuff comes down quickly or the injury's bad, maybe not.
Right.
Because I don't think they'll spend money in January either.
No, they probably won't. They likely won't. They're typically a selling club, and they don't normally buy until they make a good profit off of someone. The Seagulls flat out whoop the Toffees, and they are square in the hunt for European spots. That is for damn sure.
100%. Do you want to just go through your rant and take your shot and then let me start where I want to? Or do you want to actually go through the kind of match?
We can go through the match now. I would just want to say right off the jump before you get into your stuff here, and I'm good. I'm become apoplectic anymore, it seems. Welcome to the Prem, Evan fucking Ferguson. The 17-year-old kid has now played 3 matches for Brighton, 1 League Cup match and 2 Premier League matches. And the young lad has 3 balls in the back of the net already.
And he also had some chances that he missed. He struck the outside of the post. Pickford, I think, saved one, or it was blocked off the line, something like that. I mean, he had – or no, it was the one just over the bar when he had someone running to his right, but he decided to have a go, and it wasn't far away at all. Yeah, I mean, this kid, you know what? The future of Irish football is at his feet. Hopefully he wasn't born in England.
I'll tell you, the one thing I was thoroughly impressed with by him is he's a big lad, of course, you know, who put the big fella out there, right? But good back to goal, good with hold-up play, and he caused Tarkovsky and Cody fits, and those are 2 veteran center backs that typically know exactly what the fuck they're doing back there. Not saying they did this match, but typically they know what they're doing.
So let's fast forward. Let's fast forward to his goal.
Mm-hmm.
Since you brought off Tarkovsky, what was with the old dead salmon?
I don't know. There was that one. Look, the first goal. Let's talk about Nathan Patterson. It's very simple. You're on the weak side. Your job is to cover the weak side winger. If a ball gets passed out to him, you either intercept the ball or you cover the man. He did neither. Badly, very badly.
Yeah. He absolutely did. That is 100% true. And you can only expect to concede from that position.
At the end of the first half.
That's one of those that it's harder to miss from here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. Well, here's the thing, too. It was 1-0 at the end of the first half, and then the second half started, and then in less than 6 minutes, it was 4-0. It was like 55 minutes into the second half. You're like, oh, okay. Well, this game's over.
12 minutes from the restart, but 6 minutes in, they got the first one, obviously.
Second one. The first of 3.
Well, their second. Yeah. First one of that half. First one of the 3. Second in the game.
That was Ferguson's. No, Ferguson was number 3. Yeah. My apologies.
No, he was number 3. Yeah. That's where the salmon came in. No, he got his first, I think.
No, Minamoto was the first one. Mitomo. I'm sorry, not Minamoto.
Yeah, no, Mitomo. I'm saying Ferguson was this one.
Yeah, was number 2.
Yeah, Ferguson was this one. Was number 2.
Yeah.
Because then he assisted number 3, I think.
Yep. And then
I mean, what is...
Number 4, my boy, Idrissa Gueye, made a lovely leading pass right into open space. The problem was...
Yeah, it made Pascal Gross walk faster than everyone else to the net.
Yeah, I mean, the problem was that
He's
he passed
slow.
it backwards and right onto the oncoming Pascal Gross, who just basically walked it into the net. Not to be outdone, Jordan Pickford decides to American football tackle, his own fucking player in Tarkovsky, who lands directly on his head. And it's probably not the first time that man's landed on his head. Like, it was just...
Yeah, no,
it was comically
I mean, it's
bad.
obvious that it wasn't because he did that weird dead fish thing.
Yeah, it was comically
That's
bad.
I mean that's it. So I've slipped and I've wanted to jump and get in front of a ball before, but I've never looked like this
Yeah.
while I was doing it.
Yes, it was bad. It was it was so utterly horrible from Everton. I mean, I can't tell you when I've seen Everton look that inept, because like at least when we were overseas and we saw them play Chelsea and Chelsea beat the crap out of us, it was like, okay, they're just not inspired, they're not playing well, they're off, right? This match was just tactically bad. So I mean, I have to honestly say, like, if I sit there and I say Wolves are a bad team, Forest are a bad team, Everton's a bad fucking team. They are right now. And what that answer is, I don't fucking know, because I'm also sitting here, it's like I'm hearing rumors that the board has said Frank's job hangs on how they do in the FA Cup. Excuse me, fuck the FA Cup. Who fucking cares? Put out a bunch of kids on Friday at Old Trafford. Who gives a shit? We're in a relegation fight. We need to be far more concerned about staying in this fucking league than we really need to be concerned about a fucking FA Cup game. And if the board is basing their opinion of a manager on a fucking tournament that means nothing, that says more about the fucking board than it says about the coach. It's fucking terrible, man.
I got you. You have your Malort ready?
Oh, I got it right here.
All right, start taking it.
Okay, what, you going to say something? You want to be witty. Okay, I got you. All right, here we go.
It's not witty, it's just a fact. If anybody paid note to after the second goal, I believe it was, for Brighton, Frank Lampard's tactical nous was to stand at the edge of the technical area with his arms folded and shout, "How? How?
How?
Thanks, coach. You're really organizing us well."
Look, I still stand now. Oh, by the way, the one last thought I wanted to make before I say my final piece is, I told you this on the show on Monday. I said Everton now needs to play the way they played against City, which is sit back, absorb pressure, counterattack, make people pay. And that's what they need to do. And I specifically said, if they go out there and try to push the narrative against Brighton, they're going to turn around and find themselves down 3-1 in a blink of an eye. It was 4-1. Like, it was exactly the way I said it was going to go. And it didn't surprise me one bit. Now, what is big for Everton, like I said, fuck off with the FA Cup. If we win, great, whatever, we advanced. As long as we didn't do it using anybody of any importance, because I need them to all be ready to play next weekend, the following weekend, when they play Southampton. That is everything. They need to be ready for that match. And their next two matches are at home to Southampton, who are fucking beyond hapless, and we'll get to them in Oso. And then they're at West Ham, who cannot seem to find a way to win a game right now. And if Everton wants to, if we're going to stick with Frank, if we're going to buy people in January or get people on loan in January, and we're going to make changes to this team, those two games are everything. That's it. Period. End of discussion. That is everything right there. Because after that, we go to you and we go to Liverpool, and those are 6 points dropped right there. That's a guarantee that 6 points dropped. So these next two are everything for Everton. Their season is on the line already in these next two matches.
I don't tend to disagree with you. I mean, The only team I see, as you say, more damned right now on current form is Southampton.
Yeah. No, it's.
I mean, Forest has picked up 4 points in the last 2 games.
Exactly.
They're out of the relegation zone now. Wolves have picked up 4 points in the last 2 games.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly
It's damning form. It really is. And how you react to something that calamitous, it says it all, really.
All right. So, shocker, Spuds fuck it off in the first half, and then they're world beaters in the second half. This is kind of becoming the script for Tottenham Football Club in every single match that they seem to play anymore.
You're absolutely right. The only difference is they didn't go down, which they normally do in the first half. They actually were tying it 0-0 thanks to Hugo Lloris and a very selfish Jordan Ayew.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Should have passed that ball to fucking Elise.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, definitely, without a doubt, Palace had chances in the first half. They really did. Palace should have been
100%.
Get into the second half, Harry Kane gets a goal, and then it was all smooth sailing after that for them. This is...
And quickly,
yes.
Harry Kane got the goal.
Mm-hmm. Very quickly. And then got 2. He got 2 very quickly, and then was involved, I believe he had
and
the
then
assist
4
to Daughtry.
minutes after that, exactly.
Yeah, and didn't he have the assist to Daughtry?
Then even Matt Doherty. And
Yeah.
there was a touch. No, there was a touch of fortune because Son tried to square it to Harry Kane after running onto that ball, and then but it hit the defender and fell to Doherty.
Yep, you're right. My apologies.
But then even more fortune came upon Son, I guess because he's been hurt or something, but he was due the gods to smile upon him.
The children prayed
trademark,
for him.
Yeah, trademark kind of run. What's his name? Harry Kane lofting a long ball forward and Son running from deep. And he got there. I mean, to be fair to him, he did. But the defender was also there. It kind of, instead of hitting him on the head, which would have taken it away, it kind of grazed his head and just fell at Son's feet. Yeah. And that's how he scored his goal. I mean, a great touch, great reaction, composed finish, fine. But a little bit of fortune in both the assist and the goal he scored.
Gotta say for Palace, this is 2 very bad losses at Selhurst in a row. They won at Bournemouth for the game that they won, but this got to be concerning for Vieira that the team has had just a couple of implosions in their home park.
Yeah, I don't know I mean, I know exactly what it is. They can't fucking score. They've had a couple of injuries here or there. That now they have a couple of cards here or there.
Yeah.
I mean, without being able to score goals on a consistent basis, you're always going to have problems. Luckily for them, they have a good enough defense that they're not going to find themselves in trouble.
Yeah. No, I feel like they're going to be perfectly fine, but the progression of what you were expecting with this young team and Vieira was top 10, and I don't see this team as a top 10. I see them as probably 11th or 12th place, which is where they've already been a few times. Like, I think at some point, Palace fans are going to expect a little bit more out of this club.
Well, I think part of it's the ownership. They're not willing to splash the cash.
Yeah,
they're cool with being where they are.
Yeah.
They need a center forward. Jordan Ayew's not the guy.
Right.
Christian Benteke was kind of the guy sometimes, really not the guy others, was the fucking big dick swinging in a game or two each season.
Well, I think they need to finally just shit or get off the pot with Matea and Edouard. Like, play one of them all the time.
Do something. Yeah. I mean, you need a center forward. Do something.
Have one of those guys play up front for 6 straight. And if they can't put the ball in the net, then put the other one in for 6 straight. But
exactly.
Jordan Ayew,
I mean, the worst that's going to happen is you're going to 0-0 draw.
Yeah. Jordan Ayew's just their like safety is their safety blanket, and they need to get away from it. Yeah, they
need to get rid of him.
What are we going to see from Spurs the rest of the way? I mean, they're impossible to figure the fuck out.
I don't know. I've been trying to figure them out for years to help rip them apart from the inside, and it's just I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, it's just I'm baffled by it. Obviously, we think Conte's safe for now, but I mean, They got City right around the corner. Does it all fall to shit then?
No, of course it falls to shit, but I don't think Conte's job is really going to be up for grabs until the summer, until other people figure out what they're doing. Because again, the other side of the coin, you got to replace him. Are you really is Daniel Levy going to splash the cash to get Poch out of his contract at PSG? He won't even splash the cash on a player.
Right.
So, no, don't think that's going to happen. There's no other coach, I think, in the right mind that would take Tottenham after 3 successive big-name coaches in a row couldn't deliver.
Yeah.
Do I want that job? That club's cursed.
Fair enough. Let's turn our attention to the top of the table as second and third gain back some points on the league leaders. Arsenal 0, Newcastle 0, Manchester City 1, Chelsea 0. Scrappy affair at the Emirates finishes scoreless, Mr. Graham.
By one team, yeah, very scrappy.
I think
the other team tried to play.
Well, I think you handled it well. I mean, somebody made it ugly, and let's face it, your team has historically been a team that when somebody makes it ugly, you run in the corner and suck your thumb. You guys fought through it. You kept trying to play through it, which is, there's something to be said about that, because that has not been in your character for a very long time.
Absolutely. It still bothers me that teams will try to time waste from the 5th minute on. But that's, just kind of my own personal preference, I guess.
Hey. That is a tried and true method that has worked for Everton for a very long time. You keep your mouth shut.
Arsenal pushed and pushed. They tried and tried. They forced Nick Pope into 2 great saves. They, took a razor out and shaved the crossbar, or not crossbar, but the right-hand post. I think it was Martinelli cutting in from the inside and beat Nick Pope easily, and then just shaved the post to the outside. There's a few long-range strikes. They got some blocks in. I mean, Saka in the first, 12, 15 minutes owned Dan Burn. And then they had Botman, I think it was, kind of cheat drift so he could cover for Dan Burn and allow Dan Burn to, get back in his position. He could cover so Dan Burn could recover, if that works. And it was just so frustrating every fucking time. And I really do think I can't remember his name. Whoever came on did a handball, hit the elbow as he was turning away.
Yeah, as he was sliding away. I've
seen that given this season already.
It's exactly what I was about to say. I was like, I've seen that given already, so why wasn't it given there? I mean,
it was given in the World Cup fucking final.
Yeah, he slid on the ground and turned his back around, and that's how his arm
raised his
there.
Arms.
Yeah, it was it. You see it get given a lot of times. Why is it not given there? I very much agree with you. You were hard done in that.
But that's fine. It is.
But also, don't be leaving.
They went out and
don't be leaving it at the death to hope for a penalty, right? Have that game won earlier. Get that ball in the net earlier.
No, yeah, and we should have. I mean, Bukayo Saka had a chance in like the 4th minute that probably should have put away that Nick Pope saved. Yeah. But Eddie Dausch, does that make sense?
Yes.
Do you get that one?
Yes, I get it.
All right. It's Dice, but I put his whole name in there.
I know.
Just making sure the listeners get it. Because then I thought maybe you're twisted like me.
Okay.
Anyway.
How about you explain it one more time for the people in the back, Mr. Graham?
His team did what he set them out to do, and you can't really fault him for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a few things.
A hard fault point.
Why do you buy Nick Pope? Why do you bring Nick Pope to your team? Right there, that game. That's why you get Nick Pope. That's why you get that keeper. And I have to say, Newcastle isn't giving up goals right now, which is nice. but they ain't scoring them either right now. They're having a little bit of a drought.
No, absolutely. Injuries obviously play a massive part in that for them. But they have basically the same problem we have, which was the next point I was going to make about my boys is past the first team, there is a big drop off to your second team.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what both of us are actually going to do in the transfer window during this month. Is we've already had a couple of bids rejected for the Ukrainian international Mudryk.
Mm-hmm.
They want closer to 100 million, and we're not prepared to pay that. So, but both teams are going to need to find some depth. You thought you were getting that with Isaac, like I said, rather making Colin Wilson the depth,
Right?
because you bought Isaac.
Right.
A bit unfortunate with a serious injury because throughout most of his career, we said this the other day, he's been relatively injury free. So, the money in January is going to play a part. I'm sure Newcastle will be able to afford much more depth than we will. But who on either bench are you going to come in to change the game? And Joshua Murphy was the one with the handball, by the way, because that's who came on.
Yeah.
Or Jacob Murphy, rather. Jacob Murphy, not Joshua.
Yep.
He looks like Josh that used to play with us, Josh Patterson.
Yes, he does.
But Jacob Murphy. So is he really who you want to be bringing on to affect the game against the league leaders?
Right.
No. So Fabio Vieira, who falls over like they did at every fucking opportunity, is that who Arsenal wants to bring on? No. Marquinhos is a toddler. He won't know what to do with himself. We've seen that in his Europa League performances. He's very talented. You can see. I mean, he's skillful with the ball, but he makes every wrong decision. So inexperienced.
Mm.
So what do you do, right? You can't change that game. There's nobody on either bench, So I think January is going to be crucial for how that top four finish.
Yeah, very true. Moving on to the other team in the top four. City go to Chelsea and get a win. But one has to say, a very boring match. That's for damn sure. Chelsea were the better side in the first half. They had the better ideas. And what's funny is that I used to have the line there. It unfortunately got cut off. Was that was City's best starting lineup out there, and they did not look good at all in the first half.
No, and Chelsea had their lineup changed. Their best starting 11, in my opinion, was changed with 12 minutes on the clock or something like that.
Yep, I was going to say that first half came at a cost. They end up losing 2 guys to injury in the first half, so you have to make 2 individual subs. And remember, you're allowed to make 5 substitutions, but you're only allowed to make it over 3 subs. So then in the second half, you've got 1 sub to put in 3 guys, or 2 or 1, but you don't have anything after that. It's your last sub in your pocket.
No, you'd have to do it at halftime.
Yeah.
That's the extra. Halftime is the extra window. It doesn't count as one of the
that's right, true.
substitution windows. So, but you've already made 2 in the first half. You're going to burn another right at halftime. I don't know. And you're also not playing poorly. You've got the 0-0 tie at halftime, as it were. But I mean, honestly, by the marquee, look at these 2 glamorous sides going toe to toe. It was such a turgid match. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's no Burnley at Stoke away in League One.
Right.
But it was a turgid fucking game, this. When I see that on the marquee, when that's the billing, it gets its own goddamn day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is, that match was fucking atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
I could not, it was pitiful.
And Pep had to go to the youngster and had to make a change like Cancelo. He had to get Cancelo off the pitch. Someone who's been a steady Eddie for him forever just still does not seem to have his feet under him yet.
5 shots on target between them. A little bit of that was down to good defending. But a lot of this, I think, too, which is, to your point, why some of those weird subs came in. And then But this is the third game in 8 or 9 days for both clubs.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you also have one 2 days from now in the FA Cup,
Where they
or
play
3 days from now in the
where
FA
they
Cup.
play each other again, but at City.
Exactly. Which, do you care? This is going to be the U23s against the U21.
Oh fuck yeah! It's not going to be worth watching. That's for damn sure.
No, absolutely. But one thing I found interesting: Graham Potter standing up for the cause of his Arsenal brethren, I assume, and subbing the substitute in the 67th minute. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang
Yeah.
came on for Raheem Sterling when he got injured,
Mm-hmm.
and then was subbed out himself in the 67th minute because he's a wee bitch.
Because he also doesn't get back. Like he
doesn't care.
No, he does not.
He doesn't care.
Yeah, and it's funny to see the reactionary buys that Chelsea make that just do not pan out at all whatsoever. And they're going to make a couple more of those in January. They've already, I think they just spent $60 million on another center back from France.
I've got one.
Go.
Reports today have said that they are willing to trump any offer Arsenal make for Mudryk.
Wow.
That Ukrainian winger.
Put in for 80 million. Put in for 80 million so that they do 90.
Well, no. So the best tweet I saw was, "Hey Edu, bid 185." So they come in at 187, and this idiot doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it's typically the case with Chelsea. They'll go and buy a guy in January, and that guy ends up rarely ever really offering any help. Chelsea,
100%.
Chelsea now sit in 10th place, man. I know we've said we think that this is a newer project and this is going to have some time, but where do we really see Chelsea finishing this season, man?
That's also going to be tough. When do they abandon the long-term plan that is Graham Potter?
Huh? Well,
because I could see this getting as bad as 12th. I could see it being as good as 4th. It's just going to depend who and when they buy in.
Well, good.
And I don't mean the money. I mean the players buying into the system.
Right. Well, the good news, Sam, is there's no longer Roman. So, what the nice part there is nobody's gonna lose any limbs. Allegedly.
Yeah. I look up and Graham disappeared. Is he awake?
Yeah, he was there.
Did he pass out?
He went to go get himself a beer. The man's thirsty.
Sure. Sometimes I worry that he falls asleep.
I went to the fridge.
Wouldn't be the first time he passed out on our show.
You know what? Actually, I'm with Mel. Wouldn't be the first time you've passed out on our show. Very fair. Rounding out the rest of the league, and that happened.
That was a specific reason.
Hey, shut up. I'm reading. Fulham 1, Leicester 0, Manchester United 3, Bournemouth 0, Nottingham Forest 1, Southampton 0, Villa 1, Wolverhampton 1, Leeds 2, West Ham 2. Let's roll through this kind of quickly here, Mr. Graham. Mitro scores his 11th, and the Foxes need some kind of a spark, man. They need something to get them going.
Well, they had a fantastic game, Leicester, actually. Even Face did very well. Wout Face. They were all over the thing. They had 2/3 of possession. They had most of the chances. They had everything. Fulham had one deft touch off his chest by Mitro and a fine finish on his weaker left foot. The one thing I will say about this game, because most of it was kind of just meh, is I really wish Jamie Vardy scored.
Mm-hmm.
Because what would his shithousery have been? It's Fulham. Was he just going to be overly polite? I was talking.
Hey,
That was the fucking punchline.
Yes, when I do a thing over Zoom where I go like this, it means Phil, because I'm muting myself to talk to the producer about a bit we're not doing tonight. That's in the fucking notes that I talked to everybody about before the start of the show. But that's okay. I'm a fucking tyrant. Jesus Christ.
It's my birthday. You can't yell at me. You yell at him. Yell at him.
Then don't fuck off. Jesus.
Okay,
fuck me, Christ.
In the car earlier, you said there would be, but not a championship corner.
I said that there would not be a recap of the betting segment other than to say we're going to talk about it next week.
All right, sounds good. Carry on.
Please continue, Mr. Graham. The game was missing Vardy. It should have had Vardy. Mitro scores his 11th. He's matched his best so far in the Prem, right? At the midway point?
Yep.
Okay. Well, now I've lost Mr. Graham. Moving on to the next game. United finally get a convincing win.
Yeah, convincing. They gave up a fair few chances to one of the worst teams in the league.
Yes.
I'd still be a bit worried about what's going on there. Now, granted, United were at home, and Bournemouth, what do they have to lose? They're going to push more than they would against anyone else, because why the fuck not?
Right.
But I think the appointment of their manager on a permanent basis, I don't see them spending any money in January. I think they're preparing for life in the Championship in general. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see them pick up a nice win or two here or there, because they're going to start giving it a go, because why the fuck not? They don't expect to stay up. They're going to have fun while they're here.
Yeah, but our thing that we've been critical of United here recently is that it's been 1-0 wins. This was a 3-0 win.
That's true.
This was, they put the ball in the back of the net, and that was what they hadn't been doing the last couple of times. Because let's face it, here's the other thing too. We're talking about them in 4th place right now, but their last 3 games, they have been playing the dreg of the fucking league right now. So let's see how they do when they've got to face a Spurs, a Chelsea, an informed Brighton, an informed Brentford. You know, like, let's see how they do when they play the people that are around them. I think they're in 4th by convenience right now, because they just took care of Forest, Wolves, and Bournemouth. Woo! like that's how.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with you there. I mean, that's. But at the same token, they had to do it, and they did do it.
Yeah.
Does that do I give them extra credit in the bank? Not necessarily. Does it make me raise an eyebrow? Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cherries are outside the drop right now, but as we've already documented, all the way up to 13th place is literally 2 points out of the drop. Yeah. It is only a matter of time, especially, I mean, it could be as quickly as this next fixture list. If Everton beats Southampton at home, which, as bad as both teams are, I'd still put my money on Everton to win at home. And they already beat Southampton once already this year. So, like, I feel pretty convinced that that's going to be the case. Cherries then find themselves in the hole, and I don't know if they're going to be able to dig themselves out of it, especially with that goal differential too, which is killing them.
No, I don't think they are. But like I said, I think they're going to have some fun, is what I mean. Just judged by this performance, which means they're going to leave themselves open, which means a whole host of things. They're just going to, I think they're going to grab 1 or 2 more scalps, or what they would consider scalps, but ultimately they're done. Yeah. I think it's over. I don't even think the next 3 games really matter to them.
Oh, hey, they got one more match on the books with Everton, so they'll get that 3rd win there. Because that's how Everton do. Forest finally out of the drop. They have been in the drop since September. They haven't been the most convincing of games, but you know what? They fucking count. And frankly, it's Southampton was the perfect team for them to play to finally get a W.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. They the lack of quality in the final third. I thought this was a fucking university game, a high school game. I mean, this is atrocious in the final third for both teams, really. Just missing chance after chance after chance. On 26 minutes, though, a rare shot on goal. In fact, the only shot on goal in the entire game resulted in a goal. When poor Southampton play saw Ben Johnson barreling down on goal and Awoniyi busting an absolute gut to get there. And he did, and finished with a plum. Almost skied it, but just kept it under the bar.
Just kept it under the bar. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. It's a great win for Forest. I mean, we've already said they're going to have to try to knuckle down quickly who their best 11 is to find some consistency to try to put some sort of string of results together. But
if they could throw off a couple 2-3 in a row, they're suddenly in 12th place. We're saying, I'm sitting here and I say it about Everton. Why can't you say the same thing about Forest, Rattle off a couple of wins and suddenly you're real safe.
I mean, add one more game week, you'd say the same about Southampton. I just don't see it from either of them, to be honest, to be able to put it together to do it. That's the issue. Is I don't think they can pick up seven points in 3 weeks. In 3 game weeks at least.
Here was the other thing I just
don't see him doing it.
I was going to mention about the Saints as well, Sammy, is how can you be so bad at home? How can you be that bad at home? I mean, let's remember they also lost to Everton at home 3-1, a place that Everton never plays well at. Like, dude, come on, guys. I mean, they are dropping some bad points at home. And if you're going to stay up, your home's got to be somewhat of a fortress. You go, okay, well, the big 6, we're going to lose to all of them. But everybody in the middle of the table, well, we're going to get a draw against them. And all the teams that are down in the muck with us, we're going to beat them. That's how you get to 39 points and you stay out of the and stay in the league. And I don't see where Southampton's going to do it. Like, this is like dread, like Sheffield United dread I'm starting to feel for Southampton.
538. Is that the site that Mel uses?
Yeah, that's
for
the nerds.
Stats?
Yep, that's the nerds.
So Kenny sent me something.
Please do tell.
It was a wee link, and the caption that came with the link was, "Fuck me, they're not wrong." And what I have is the end of season probabilities updated. Manchester City to win the league are at a 50% chance. Arsenal only 42% chance. Mm-hmm. But then we scroll all the way down, and this is why this is relevant, because Southampton now possess a 54% chance of being relegated, and somehow less than 1%. Hold on. It's Champions League or win the league. Never mind. Okay. 54% to be relegated. Bournemouth are 47. Everton are 49. So the odds are still in your favor, sir.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it.
Wolves are 45 and Nottingham Forest are 44.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I don't agree with that. I would trade you and Nottingham Forest, and I would leave Wolves exactly where the fuck they are.
Yeah, fair enough.
And Southampton and Bournemouth, I tend to totally agree.
Yeah, I'm with you. We talked about it already earlier this week. We both seem to be kind of universal on Southampton, Forest, Bournemouth is who we think are going to be the teams that go down.
I'm still mad about the plane thing when the Cardiff dude died.
Yeah, it's still kind of fucked up. Agreed.
So I'm still not. I'd be happy to see him go down.
Speaking of feistiness, it may not be officially a derby, but Villa Wolves is a fucking derby, man. That is always a really feisty affair when they get together.
But you saw it with Leon Bailey, inconsolable after the game because he missed that chance.
That was a sitter. Oh my God, what a sitter.
I know, but he was laying on the field crying, literally crying, like heaving crying.
Yeah.
He had a bad game.
He did have a bad game. He had a great chance early on as well, but he got his body shape all wrong, even though he was on his favorite left foot and he dragged it wide.
Yeah.
Daniel Penance had a lovely one too. And then Daniel Penance tried to off-foot bicycle kick from the 18, like he was Wayne Rooney. That was funny. That was fucking weird. I think Villa were a bit fortunate with Danny Ings' finish. I mean, it was a good finish, but Jose Sa slipped.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Sa slipping is what made that ball be easier for Ings to put in. Now, not saying that
Ings
might not have
did
put it
have
away.
the composure, and he was there.
I would also say if Sa was on his feet, he's probably not doing that chip. He's probably rifling it low and probably beating Sa. Probably. But Sa slipping made it very easy. Then it was just like, oh, this is a no-brainer. Just lift it over top of him. It's going in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's and
I don't mind where both teams are at the moment. Wolves, I think is. I think our internet connection's a bit fucked, Sam.
Okay, we're a little lagging.
Yeah, you're lagging a bit on my screen, so I'm starting to talk while you're still talking.
Sorry to hear that, man. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that's what happened when everything got fucked up with that really good joke I had.
Oh, of course, it was a really good joke.
Yeah, that's why I just stopped talking, because you two started fighting. It was a great joke. Do you want to hear the joke again?
No, I don't. Please continue talking about Wolves.
I like where both teams are headed based on their recent form. I think Wolves still have a lot of fucking problems. So I would still worry about the relegation. But of the 5 or 6 teams we've mentioned in that fight, even with the nerds, I kind of fancy Wolves and Everton as the 2 that stay. But that being said, Wolves are on the fucking cusp. I mean, they are. If you made me choose 4 teams that are in trouble, Wolves would be the 4th.
Right. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that. Although you have to put Everton there right now instead of Wolves because Wolves just beat Everton, you know. But again, let's see what happens in January too, because if there's 2 clubs that are going to do something about what they need to improve with their sides, it's probably Everton and Wolves, and they're probably the 2 that have at least an ability to do so. Finally, Leeds really should have won that match against West Ham. Now I know they went down 2-1 at one point, and but after they tied it up 2-2, especially down the stretch there, big save from Pavianski, a couple of nice key blocks by West Ham, one off the post. I mean, Leeds should have won that game. They easily could have put 2 or 3 in right at the death.
No, 100%. Fabianski almost gave them one, but then Fabianski taketh. Fabianski giveth, Fabianski taketh away.
Not wrong. And hey,
I mean, that save on the final header. Sam, I know that got your fucking wee dick hard.
Oh yeah, that
was brilliant.
That's the one as a keeper. You're like, fuck yeah, oh, definitely.
Oh, good one. That was dope. That
I do love that the footballing world knows that the minute we talk shit about somebody, they're going to do well. I mentioned the fact that Son hasn't scored since his hat trick. Of course, he scores this week. You talk about Italian strikers never scoring. Samaka scores this week. It's almost like the Premier League goes, hold on. English football Twitter definitely needs to fuck with these Americans and tell them how very fucking wrong they are. Let's do the exact opposite of what they just said.
Well, you know what they call it, the curse of the commentator. That's as soon as you praise somebody, they fucking, think the advertising hoarding is one of their players, like Ronaldo Sanchez did back in the day for Swansea. Or if you denigrate somebody, this guy's not shown up all day. They fucking hit a screamer from 25 yards out.
This team never scores on corners. Goal.
Yeah. That's the curse of the commentator, man. That's exactly what it is.
But then how does it work with the commentator whenever they say this team is really poor at corners, and they say it every single time there's a corner, and then without doubt there's a goal scored, so they could go, see, told you they were really bad on corners. I only know that because I've heard commentators say that a lot about my team for the last 5 years. I'm sorry, nothing.
Didn't that happen to you?
A whole lot. Every fucking week.
I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter.
I'm not bitter. I love my team.
Mikel Antonio also had a chance right at the death, too.
Yeah, he did.
Mikel Antonio also had a chance right at the death. But I think he probably wishes he was in that snowman suit so he could melt and extend just a little bit.
I think final thought here, Graham, and get your opinion on it as well. I feel like for Leeds, this is what we're going to get from them, right? So there's going to be games like this where you go, wow, this team's really got it together. There's a lot of energy. They're a really good side. But then that energy gets used against them a lot, too, when a team will just pick them apart because they're so high octane and so high energy. But you see games like this and you go, yeah, Leeds is going to be all right. Leeds is going to figure it out. You keep going, yeah, I think they're going to figure it out. But then you watch them get demolished by someone.
Yeah, I mean that's how they're going to be, because Jesse Marsch is about as kind of gung-ho as Marcelo Bielsa. He tries to organize a defense a bit to a point.
Here's the one thing that we have to hope that Jesse Marsch actually never gets from Marcelo Bielsa. Lonely, dark nights, naked on the physio's table.
Sure money.
So we are not going to recap Shore Money this week because we're not betting on the FA Cup. So we have a show next week to preview and talk about what's going on in the Premier League next weekend. We will be betting and recapping our bets at that point.
Very good, very good. And there's no championship corner to talk about either, so no little fun sound drop there either as well. God, Sam, I finished a sentence right as Mr. Graham sipping a beer. That's on me. That's okay. See, I'm willing to admit when I'm not covering my partner's ass.
Fuck you.
I love you too, Graham.
So nobody played in the championship this week, so we can't talk about it.
That's going to wrap it up, boys and girls. Mr. Graham, any parting words? I just wanted to have you hold on there for a second.
Yeah, I do have parting words. There's a couple of things. The first of which is I so wish Jamie Vardy would have scored, because what would his shithousery have been? It's Fulham. Would he have been overly polite?
Okay, so what's the joke?
Hold on, Graham. Tell it one more time. It might be funnier.
Yeah, try again.
Normally on your fifth time, it normally lands.
Hold on. I'm going to do a shot real quick, and then we'll see if it's funnier. Okay, go.
I'm upset that there is no injury time this week, because injury time, we would normally be previewing the third round of the FA Cup. My favorite weekend of the footballing calendar.
I love it.
Where legends are written, iconic goals have been scored, and David sometimes beats Goliath. But in our minds, it happens every goddamn year.
It does happen every fucking year. Somebody does it.
Some notable fixtures this weekend, just to give you a little heads up. And an all Premier League tie, Manchester United and Everton get the weekend started off.
Let that be quick and painless and move on to the paying attention to the league.
I just did that to make you mad.
That's... I'm glad I can watch it. I'm glad I can watch it on Friday. It'll already be over, and then Saturday I can wake up and enjoy the FA Cup third round, Mr. Graham.
And you will enjoy it, because at 7:30 a.m. on Saturday, little old Pompey, a club close to our hearts, recently, in recent memory, winners of the FA Cup. As I always like to point out, because it's such a goofy stat, the longest ever holders of the FA Cup as well in terms of timeline.
Well, it's because there was a world war and there was no footy.
They travel to Spurs.
Oh, very good.
And little old Portsmouth, at this point in their lives, could use that gate revenue. So thank God for them. Forest Green Rovers travel to Birmingham City, which is Birmingham City is a relative recent Premier League club, but in and around the championship all the time. Forest Green Rovers, not.
Yeah.
So that's a huge deal. Gillingham travel to Leicester, another League One club going to or League Two. Gillingham is, isn't it?
Gillingham's League Two, I believe, currently.
To Leicester. Yeah, going up to a Premier League club. Hull to Fulham. You know, Hull is on the cusp of relegation again from where they're at. So traveling to a Premier League club is huge. Another fun thing, I love these because you get a guaranteed team into the next round. You got Ipswich versus Rotherham.
Ah, there you go. So a championship side versus a
so you got a guaranteed lower league.
Yeah. Very
exactly.
Nice.
So you got to definitely somebody from the lower leagues is going in. Shrewsbury plays Sunderland, Chesterfield at West Brom. I mean, some Bournemouth and Accrington. Another non-league and League One side. So guaranteed a lower league opposition in the next round. It's the purest of competitions. I love it to death. Except for that whole point where Premier League stadiums have VAR and everybody else doesn't, which means the same competitions being played under two sets of rules, and that can go fuck itself.
You, for once, you did not bring up your team and make it all about Arsenal, but I will do it for you. Your boys go back to the scene of the crime where a large grounds crew / third goalkeeper ate a pie. Aren't you guys heading out to Sutton, or is it Oxford?
Sutton United.
Yeah, it's Sutton United.
I don't know.
It's either Sutton or Oxford.
Yeah, where
I think
are we
it's
at?
Sutton. You're on Monday.
Oxford United we're playing.
Oxford, okay. So League
We're
One
on Monday.
side.
Oxford United we're playing.
Still, League One side. That is not fun for the Premier League sides to have to go to the lower league sides because maybe the pitch no perfect.
No, so good.
Yeah. Well,
what's sad is now every tie I think now goes to straight penalties.
Yes.
So should we fuck up and 0-0 draw, they would not get the opportunity to replay, which in years past that would have happened. I think last couple of years it was just round the quarterfinals on were straight to penalties.
Yeah.
They still played replays for the earlier rounds. That's just a bit sad. I mean, you'd hope the Premier League club at least donates a bit.
You got to assume they are. If it's a proper club, they're taking care of people.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, and ours did. I mean, we did it to Sutton. So I hope we still are.
You helped build them stands. You helped them up and built them a whole new stand section. I'm just hoping that, that mammoth behemoth that is Manchester United can go ahead and help out Everton with a few shekels because we need to buy a few guys to keep us up this season.
Why don't you get Donny van der Beek on loan again?
Yeah, exactly. He proved to be fantastic for one game, an FA Cup match. We don't need him for an FA Cup match. Thank you so much for joining us, boys and girls. Again, big shout out to producer Mel for putting in the time tonight on her birthday to help us out. And what I appreciate with producer Mel is it wasn't even a question. She was like, yeah, let's just figure everything out. We'll get it done.
I was here. I'm always here. Unless I'm in Jamaica, and then I'm not here. I'm in Jamaica.
Oh, good thing you land on a Monday.
Oh, I leave on a Saturday, and I'm back on a Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm going to have to work. Old daddy do two jobs is going to have to fucking run the board again.
That's coming up in about 15 days, so have fun.
Very good, very good. We might bring in a third chair that night, Mr. Graham, and I might let you drive the old bus that night. Let you feel my pain. I think
that'd be fine with me. Well, no, I can finally do it properly.
You know what's not?
Did that not come through? Are we breaking up, Sam?
Yeah, we're not.
I can finally do it properly.
We're not doing injury time this week, but we are not doing an injury time tonight, but we do typically do injury time, and we did do one earlier this week. Mr. Graham, should somebody want to check out injury time, how do they go about doing it?
That's quite easy. It's being overly polite, Sam. That's the punchline. It's funny.
Okay.
It's www.patreon.com/DFootballShow. Just sign up to that one easy $5 tier. You get all our extra content. Sound check, which is our actual sound check. We are checking levels, sharing stories from our weekends. And then injury time, as Sam already said, that is our preview show where we talk about this week's upcoming action in a fast, fun, fit, and firing way.
Very good. Very good. And if we did do an injury time tonight, Mr. Graham would explain that joke again for the 8th fucking time. Till next week, everybody.
And I'd also say cock a lot.
Bye.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston.
Arsenal fans have another Sam. Right day, the fucking Gooner Graham. Smells of my lord. Looks great in shorts. Sam Graham, hey.
Sam Graham.
Brooklyn United! Brooklyn United! Hit the fucking mute button!